rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Unless, was there any additions to it?
There's no additions, Mr. Mayor, but under 7B, there's just a revised ordinance, and it was attached and emailed to you before.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Open forum. If anybody would like to just publicly speak, this is your time. Okay. Consent agenda. Approval of the minutes, the bills, purchase orders, approval of the investments. There was all the tobacco license renewals were going on. There is two donation resolutions. Resolution number 12-1825-2, where is it here? Okay, sorry. -56, the Melrose Fire Relief Association of the Melrose Fire Department for a donation of $2,500 for a thermal imager. Then there's a donation resolution 2025-57, Melrose Area Lions Club to the Holiday Kickoff Committee in the amount of $1,500. And there's a step increase for a police officer. Unless there's any questions, can I get a motion to approve it?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. It is 6:02. We are on to a public hearing for the 2026 budget levy. Jackie.
Yep, you have to make the motion to open the public hearing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a public hearing. It's open at 6:02.
Okay.
So, all right, we're ready.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Good evening. Welcome to the Truth in Taxation hearing for December 18th. Tonight we will be discussing the City of Melrose 2026 budget and tax levy. The purpose of this hearing is to give taxpayers an opportunity to become involved in the local government budgeting process and to better understand the relationship between budget decisions and property taxes.
I wonder if yours is on this. It should be in there. I just checked.
Thanks. The City of Melrose budget process is built on systematic goals of the City Council, Public Utilities Commission, staff, and the city's residents. The process begins in June with the Finance Director providing revenue and expenditure projections to department heads. A staff retreat is then held with representatives from all departments along with the city engineer to collaborate on upcoming projects and identify opportunities to minimize costs. The City Council and Public Utilities Commission then meet to review each department's preliminary needs, revenue sources, and long-term capital goals. This year, the City Council and staff held 3 work sessions to discuss the preliminary budget, the first in August, second in September, and the third in November. The preliminary budget and tax levy were adopted in September. This information is then provided to Stearns County so truth in taxation notices can be prepared and issued to each property owner. The goal of this process is to develop a budget that is achievable, considers future projects and spending needs, and strives to maintain a stable tax rate for the City of Melrose taxpayers. As noted earlier, the purpose of this hearing is to increase participation by the public in the property tax system by reviewing the budget and proposed tax levy in a public forum. Property taxation, how do we compare? The city's net tax capacity is used to calculate the city tax rate. As taxable market values increase, the city's net tax capacity increases. It is important to note that local governments do not directly set tax rates. The tax rate is calculated based on the total levy amount, the funds needed from property taxes to provide city services, divided by the city's net tax capacity. This rate is then applied to each individual property to determine tax liability. The chart above shows a comparison of city rates for 2025 with other Stearns County cities. The orange dotted line represents the proposed 2026 tax rate for Melrose. As shown, Melrose remains on the bottom third of comparable communities. Here you can see the city's taxable market value from 2019 to present. The Stearns County assessor determines the market value for each parcel the year prior to taxes being payable. When the city's taxable market value changes, there will be an impact on the city's tax rate. For 2025, the taxable market rate for the city of Melrose was $309,915,540. The above slide shows the changes in the city of Melrose net tax capacity over recent years. The net tax capacity for 2025 was $3,431,028. For 2026, it is estimated to increase by approximately 7% to $3,676,547. There are several reasons property taxes may vary from year to year, including market value changes, voter-approved referendums, and special assessments. Next, we will be discussing the proposed tax levy and general fund budget. The 2026 proposed tax levy for the general fund is $1,594,000, representing a $144,000 increase from 2025. The debt levy is set at $80,000, which did not change from 2025. This brings the total proposed tax levy to $1,674,000. Due to the increase in tax capacity, the overall tax rate experienced a minimal increase. The city of Melrose is fortunate to carry limited debt. The general fund debt consists of a governmental bond with a current balance of approximately $440,000, which will be paid off in 2028. The city will levy for this debt through 2027. The city also holds a utilities bond through the Minnesota Public Facilities Authority. However, this debt is repaid through utility revenues and does not impact property taxpayers. This slide shows historical tax levy trends. You will notice larger changes between 2021 and 2023 due to legislative discussions surrounding significant reductions to local government aid and the anticipation of those losses. The city continues to focus on keeping levy changes minimal and incremental. Since 2017, the city tax rate has decreased by nearly 36%, dropping from approximately 70.93% to 45.53%. In 2026, the total general fund revenue budget is $3,600,353, an increase of $184,035 or 5% in 2025, over 2025. Property taxes are the largest revenue source for the city, which makes up 44% of the city's revenue. Intergovernmental revenues, specifically local government aid, account for 34% of the city's revenues. The transfer from the electric fund for franchise fees represents 14% of the city's revenue. The continued growth of the municipal electric service helped reduce the city's need to raise the tax levy. Other revenue sources consist of license and permits, charges for services, fines and forfeits, donations, investment income, and miscellaneous revenue. This chart shows the breakdown of city's revenue sources, with property taxes being the largest revenue source. Local government aid is determined by the state of Minnesota using a formula that compares a city's need with its ability to pay. This formula varies based on city size. The City of Melrose 2026 local government aid is $1,175,503, which represents an increase of $4,436 from 2025. The 2026 general fund expenditures are budgeted at $4,173,151. which is $572,798 higher than budgeted revenues. This results in a projected decrease in unassigned fund balances. This chart shows the breakdown of expenditure sources. Miscellaneous expenditures including assessing, cable communications, and building inspection. The higher street percentage reflects set-asides for future equipment and road repair projects. Above is an overview of the general fund expenditure history. Expenditures are higher as the city invests in capital needs, plans for future projects, and adds a police officer to support public safety. Proposed 2026 and other governmental fund budgets. The 2026 Special Revenue Fund budget summary includes revenues and expenditures for the Melrose Area Development Authority and the Volunteer Fire Department Fund. These funds support economic and industrial development, redevelopment activities, and fire protection services for the City of Melrose and surrounding communities. The city's primary capital project fund is the Capital Improvement Fund, which accounts for most of the city's capital needs. Revenues are projected to come in under expenses by just $160,000. The remaining capital funds consist primarily of TIF funds supporting development projects throughout the city. Lastly, we have one debt service fund for the levy and the payment for the debt service. Although the utility fund is overseen by the Public Utilities Commission, we will briefly review it to provide context for the city's overall financial picture. This slide provides a condensed view of the 2026 budget approved by the Public Utilities Commission. Between 2025 and 2026, water, sewer, and electric revenues increase modestly, primarily due to higher operating capital costs. One thing the city does along with the budget and budget planning process is look at the upcoming years and try to plan for future needs and projects. Estimated growth in tax capacity projections help determine the total levy needed. The city's goal is to keep tax rates as flat as possible and avoid significant increases for taxpayers. The Capital Improvement Fund is the city's main fund used for capital projects. Throughout the year, staff evaluate projects and equipment needs, prioritize the highest needed items, and identify alternative funding sources to minimize the need for additional debt. At this time, the City Council will open the floor for questions and public comment regarding the proposed budget and tax levy.
All right. Just checking to see if anybody in the public has any questions. The only thing I would personally like to say is us as a council, we really try to live within our means, and I think we've done a very good job about it. I look at our school district and our county, they're doing the best that they can also. You know, my fear is what's coming out of St. Paul is really starting to make me nervous. It looks like the proposed, there's going to be passing a lot of burden onto the counties, and hence looking at Stearns County may have to push more stuff off, and taxes may go off by lack of people doing their job in St. Paul. So just let citizens know that all of your local people are doing the best they can, and hopefully they can see good results in our community and what we're doing. So it is 6:14. We will be taking action on this in just a little bit. We're on to reports. Police Department. Chief?
Good evening. November 2025, in a traffic area, we had 19 citations, 112 verbal warnings, 22 written warnings. We ended this year on 319 calls or requests for service. Last year was 265. The numbers you saw in your packet were 4,186. Last November, we went to a different record system, so they had to just create a number of some sort so they didn't crash together with the old system, new system. So that one's slightly inflated, but we ended this year on 3,308. Last year, I believe we were at about we're about 120 calls above last year overall. We were trying to compare it between the old system and the new system and trying to get a decent number in between there. But overall, we ended on roughly ICR like 39 or 33 something, whatever it was. It was nothing too majorly different between the two. 10 agency assists, pretty common. We have been working on the 24-hour parking. It's been actually going better than I expected it to. That's where the 22 written warnings came in. And as you saw in the Star Post this week, we had 7 citations related to 24-hour parking. December will have a higher number than that. We did have 1 tow in this event. The party was on vacation, and the family that was in charge of said vehicle or what the household chose not to get it out of the way, and they're working through everything, but they should be getting their vehicle out of impound and those sorts of things, and are well aware of what needs to happen if anybody in the household leaves for vacation again. Other people have come in with questions about it. We tried to explain it as best we can, but almost explain it like odd even parking to them to an extent. But it's been working better than expected. And if we keep getting snows like we have been, hopefully people can keep up and keep on moving things. As of today, we accepted resignation from Officer Root. He's been accepted with the Minnesota State Patrol. He'll be going to Academy with them in early January. So we'll have an opening for that position, which we'll be posting for next week sometime. Would hope the process goes smoothly. We have a potential hire out there for, or potential candidate for your next council meeting in January. Hesitant to say anything on squad cars, but the Durango we ordered in October potentially could be here next week. The Ford we ordered in October 2024 could potentially be here next week. It's in a rail yard in St. Paul right now as opposed to being in Chicago. So there's some optimism there, but I believe after the first year is more realistic for any of that sort of stuff. Other than that, we got some end of year's vacations being used and whatever else, and some trainings getting wrapped up, but for the most part, we're sailing through the police department. Any questions?
Well, long before the squad cars are going to service, if you did get them, they have to go to get all the gear put on them, right?
Yeah, so fortunately, they're slow this time of year because of, budgeting times and other departments too. If we dropped it off today, it would be done by the end of the week. Well, I shouldn't say that. We dropped it off on a Tuesday, it'd be done by the end of the week. So once they hit the spaces they're supposed to go, they're turned around pretty quick.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay.
All right. Sheila? Community Development Director.
So the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for November was canceled, but we are back in business in December. We have 3 items on the agenda for next week. The Arts Council is moving ahead with their mural project and has selected a design. As you'll recall, we now have a process in place for murals, and it requires a public hearing and a conditional use permit. So Planning and Zoning will be giving this a first review. Then they will set a hearing, which will come then to you for final approval. We are also coordinating with MATA and the council on a development project, which includes some streets and plating and zoning, so those meetings have been taking place. And then also, Planning and Zoning is required by statute to review the budget as well, to make sure that the plans that you all put in place for the budget in terms of streets and projects fit the comprehensive plan. So they will be going through that process on next week also at their meeting. It also makes grant writing much easier when the comprehensive plan lays out our goals and visions. And so speaking of grant writing, we are all in now. The Small Cities grant was sent in, contamination investigation, the local road improvement, and a smaller one for the new city park on the west side. So now we just sit around and we wait. And we wait and we wait for those emails to come in. Between the 4 of them, they have rolling deadlines of coming out anywhere from late December to March. So we're just on the lookout for more opportunities to keep grant writing, because I really do like to do that. The MPCA will be on site at 517 Main Street East, either later this month or early January, to assess that property for environmental concerns. We really don't know if there are any concerns, but we're helping out the owner, putting them in contact with MPCA to check it out. Other than that, we continue to match up projects with open spots and have conversations. Thank you.
Thank you. City Engineer Report, Dave?
All right, good evening. Kind of turning the book on 2025 into 2026 planning here. So a few there on the agenda here. We have a discussion on the 2026 street project, which is I mean, a little bit further east of the hospital than last year, and then one street on the north end of town that wasn't behaving itself. So more of the same, most of the pavement rehab should be a pretty quick project this year is the plan. So otherwise, help Sheila with a couple quick needs on her grant stuff. Otherwise, it's been getting a little quieter, and that's okay. All right.
Awesome, thank
Thanks,
you.
Dave. Colleen, City Administrator report.
The Public Utilities Commission accepted requests for qualifications from engineering firms for providing wastewater and water services. Our longtime engineer that we have been with, we have elected not to renew their contract for 26. So we did interview 2 different firms, and they elected to go with Nero Engineering. It's actually Nero combined with AE2S, so it's 2 engineering firms together that are combined to provide the services that we need. There is a water tower maintenance project that we elected not to not to have an engineer work through an engineer on that project. We are actually going to be working directly with a contractor to get that project done. And that's just a general maintenance on the water towers that we have every year. There's inspections that have to happen. There's some coatings that have to be done, that type of thing. So that is something that we are looking at for that. The test well was dug for well number 10, and the good news is it looks like we can proceed forward with the well itself, because the test well did bring back really good results as far as what gallons per minute that we were getting, that it was pumping out of the ground. So we gave the green light for them to proceed forth with the next phase of that project. Just as a reminder, the other part, we talked about taxes this evening. The other 2 areas that the city also controls are, well, 3 actually, water, wastewater, and electric. And so in 26, we will see a 4% increase in electric rates. And then for the wastewater, we will see a 5% increase. Again, for the very reasons that Jackie had laid out, it's the same type of thing. You go through your capital plan, you go through your planning to determine how those rates come about. The water is going to remain flat, so we will not be doing anything with that. And then the rest of my stuff, Mr. Mayor, is on the council later.
All right. Sounds good. We're going to action items. So we're going to start with the 2026 budget and levy resolution number 2025-50, a resolution adopting the tax levy and the 2026 budget / 2026 2030 5-year capital improvement plan. So the first action item is the council to take action on adopting the proposed resolution prior to closing the meeting or closing the hearing. Resolution 2025-58, resolution adopting the tax levy and the 2026 budget. Can I get a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. And the second part of it is the council take action adopting the 2026 to 2030 5-year capital improvement plan. Can you get a motion to approve? Can you get-
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, and then we are on to A, the staff, the updated the 2026 fee schedule, the ordinance. Did you want to say something
Yep.
about that?
So as part of the budget process, the other thing we look at also is our fee schedule. And in 2026, we do have several changes. The first change that we have is an assessment search. We are going from $20 that we charged in 25 to $35 in 26. Additional room rental fee. There is, it used to be that it was $25 is not cleaned and put back to original arrangement. We are now charging $100 or recommending that we charge $100. We had a couple issues this last year, and so we just want, it's labor intensive for us to do it, and it costs cleaning, et cetera. So we feel that that needs to be high enough that people are incentivized to make sure they put everything back where it's supposed to be. On development side, on the residential permit side, the fees that are getting charged higher include roofing, siding, window replacement, retaining walls, residential, lots of residential things. And the reason that they are, this is not something that we set, this is set by Inspectron, who is our building services group. and it falls in line with what the state is. So you're gonna see a $25 increase depending on what it is, you know, what the permit's for. But on the average, it's gonna be $25 for a $100 permit. Park shelter fees, we actually raised that refundable deposit, or recommending that we raise it. We're not gonna change the fee itself for $100, but we're just recommending a $250 refundable deposit. Again, this goes back to a couple issues that we had related to damage that was done in the park. The other part of that, though, is we are getting rid of the nonprofit organization. We used to charge them $150, and we're recommending that that actually be brought down to $100. We used to charge for-profits $200. We're recommending that be brought down to $100 with the larger refundable deposit. Large events, $300 and $100 refundable deposit. Again, we're saying $100 just to keep all those consistent, because whether or not you're a nonprofit, a profit, or you're using it for a large event, it's really relatively the same space. So we felt that it was important that those all get treated the same. We have increased we're recommending an increase of a late checkout fee of $40 for camping. And also we're recommending that if somebody is parking in an unauthorized spot, that they get charged $40. We are also recommending that we have a dump station access. It's $5 per use. Right now that's on the honor system and people are really good about it, but we just want to make sure, we want to memorialize that in our fee schedule. Again, damage to the campground, if there's any actual damage, it's going to be based on what the actual cost is of the damage. The adult league fees used to be $100 plus $25 per week after 4th week, and $100 refundable deposit. We are still recommending the $100 plus $25 after the 4th week, but we are saying a $250 refundable deposit. Same with soccer. This is new as far as, this is new, what we're recommending under street, sidewalk, excavating, and openings. So right now, when somebody opens the street for a project, what happens is our guys have to go out there and kind of take care of it. Sometimes they have time to do that, sometimes they don't. So we are recommending that the council consider fees for people, or folks to put the escrow down, not a fee, it's an escrow amount. So we would hold that amount here. If it's a gravel road, we're saying it would be $600 and a 1-year warranty. If it's a bituminous road, we're saying it's $3,000 and a 1-year warranty. Or somebody could just post a $5,000 annual bond, and then we just hold that. So then they are provided with the specifications, and they incumbent upon inspections by a street department supervisor or whomever, but it's the inspection is done, and if it meets our specifications and they put it back to what it was before they cut it open, then they would we would give them that money back after we've gotten through the warranty period. So yeah, you know, if the city has to incur any of the costs, then we will deduct that from whatever that escrow is. And then if the costs exceed what that deposit is, we will bill them additional costs. But the idea is that we're trying to get, if our guys do it, that's one thing, but we're trying to get it so that the contractors are doing this work and putting them back the way it should be.
Would that be an example of like a water main repair or
Yep,
something like that?
exactly. That's what we're talking about here.
That's just so that when the road gets redone, it's not like when someone's driving 30 down Main Street, all of a sudden they hit a big bump because
Yep.
it wasn't
Yep.
settled, or
Right.
that they didn't do it to the best of their ability.
Does it apply to curb too, or just the street?
It would apply, well, actually, we don't have the curb in here. That's a good point. We do have a curb opening, though. We already have on our fee schedule, I think curb openings are $15, maybe. It's a good question. I'm not sure I know that answer.
That's all right.
I do think there is already something in there for curb openings, and we're not proposing to do anything different on that. And I honestly don't know what that amount is, but there is a specific line item. The ones that you have that I'm talking about are just the proposed changes, so I don't have the entire comprehensive fee schedule, but right-of-way permits are $15. An example of a right-of-way permit is if somebody wants to put a dumpster on Main Street, right? They want to put a sign, I don't know if we allow signs. It's really like dumpsters on Main Street. What other examples?
Anything that might block, like if they're doing a construction
Right.
project.
Yep,
When they're
yep,
not doing damage, but there's blocking them.
yep. So that would be a $15 fee. Low-dose cannabis registration, we are recommending $75 a year. So that's the same as, like Spirit Liquor and those folks are allowed to have it, but we need to charge a separate permit fee for them. So that's something we're gonna bring back to you guys then next year because it's new. And if you approve it, then it is a licensing requirement. So we're gonna have to go through that process. We're recommending, in the police department, there's several things that we're recommending we go ahead and increase. Haven't been increased in many years. That's why you're seeing all these fee schedules in front of you, because we've left a lot of this the same for a long time. U-turn business district, right now it's 25. The recommendation is it goes up to 50. Exhibition driving is 50. We're recommending 100. And these are all cited in citations. Snowmobile hours of operation is 25. We're recommending 50. Operation prohibited places is 50. We're recommending 100. Golf cart rule violation, we recommend, that's a new fee, that would be $20, and golf cart no permit, there's a recommendation of $50. So that's, that is a recommendation there. Along with that, we also have some increases as well in parking violations. Blocking hydrant, we're recommending that be increased by $10, so it would go from 10 to 20. Second violation, it would go to $30. And third violation would go to 50. So it's a $10 increase until you get to the third violation, then it's a $20 increase. Handicap zone, right now it's $10, we're recommending 20. The second violation is 20, we're recommending 30. The third violation is 30 impoundments, towing and storage fees. We're recommending, third violation is 50 impoundment, towing and storage fees. Again, this is all related to ordinances that we have. Other illegal parking, right now the first violation is 10, second is 20, third is 30 with impoundment, towing, and storage fees. We are recommending in the new fee schedule, the first being 20, the second being 30, and the third being 50 with the impoundment, towage, and storage fees. Snowbird, right now it's 10, 20, 30. I'm not really sure what that means, Craig, so you might need to elaborate on that one a little bit. I'm not sure what a snowbird violation is.
It's similar to our 24-hour parking violation.
Okay. So then that would be 10, 20, 30 respectively, and we're saying 10, 20, 30, 50. So following along, these are all going to be pretty similar. A 3-hour limit is, again, 10, 20, 30. We're recommending 20, 30, 50. Overtime parking right now is $10 for 3-hour, $30 for 24-hour. We're recommending $20 and $50. Seasonal is $10. Seasonal 3 to 6 a.m., $10, and we're recommending 20. Semi-truck on street is 10. We're recommending 20. Parade route is 10. We're recommending 20. Crosswalk is 10. We're recommending 20. So those are the fees under the parking violations. On the fire department side, under fire calls, rescue calls, hazardous material calls, right now it's $400 plus $400 an hour after the first hour, maximum charge of $1,600. They would propose to go up to $500 plus $500 an hour after first hour, with the maximum charge being $2,000. False alarms and CO alarms right now are $125. They're recommending $200. Lift assist is $100, and they're recommending $125. That's in the fire department. On the ambulance side, There is also recommendation on some increase in fees as well. And a lot of the stuff related to the ambulance side kind of ties to sort of the reimbursement rates that we're not getting, and so we have to increase some of those fees. Trip charge right now for basic life support is $850. We're recommending $1,000. Advanced life support is $1,700. We're recommending $2,000. Advanced life support 2 is a new one that actually, because of our ALS service, we're able to have that as part of our fee schedule, and we're seeing that is $2,200. The mileage for BLS is 15. We're recommending it go to 20. The mileage for ALS is 20. That's staying the same. I'm not sure why that's in there that way. Vehicle rescue call, that's the same. Here we go. Lift assist, we're recommending it go to 150. Fire drill standby in their PSA area, they're recommending 500. Fire drill standby out of their PSA area, they're recommending 750. A take-home fee of 500 with very much limits set on that. That's to avoid, the hospital or nursing home or somebody calling us up and sort of using our ambulance as more like a taxi service, I guess. If somebody, providing service for all-day events, they're recommending 500 per day, and then attendance at football games is 175. So that's kind of where we're at. That's quick, but if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy, or any of the staff would be happy to answer those questions.
All right. Ordinance number 12/18/2025-1, an ordinance summarizing and affirming fees for city license, permit, services, establishing a fee, fines, providing for review, modifications, amendment. Can I get a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. And then ordinance 12/18/2025-2, an ordinance establishing compensation reimbursement for expenses for mayor, council members, and other board and commission members. There's a revised attachment.
Jackie might have to speak to this one because I don't know enough about it. I don't know what the revision was, Jackie, I'm sorry.
It was just the verbiage, like the spelling out of the numbers to match the increased dollar amount need to be corrected.
Okay. All right. Was there any questions or concerns on it?
Does it normally go up annually or not?
It hasn't gone up in
Many years.
many years.
Yeah, so, and this will not take effect until after the 26 elections. We just wanted to make sure that it was on here, so that it was there.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. C, hiring a city clerk position.
We received 20 applications for the city clerk position and interviewed 6 applicants on Tuesday, December 2nd. Interview committee members were Jolene Wheeling as a representative of the city, myself, HR coordinator Doris Reeland, finance director Jackie Niehaus, and police chief Craig Mouse. CD director Hellerman drove the candidates around and gave a tour of the city. Mayor Finken was able to come in after the interviews and discuss as well. 2 candidates, Connor Cockler and Josh Bentley, participated in a meet and greet with the administrative staff on 12/11, and the administrative team unanimously ranked Connor as their number 1 choice to fill the clerk role. Connor was offered the position at a starting wage of step 1, which is $35.08 per hour on the 26 wage scale. Following 6 months of full-time employment and upon a favorable evaluation, it is recommended to move him to step 2 at $38.43 per hour. From then, he would qualify for step increases annually, dependent upon favorable evaluations, until step 4 on the wage scale. To give, at this point, I am requesting action to give consideration to hiring Connor Cockler for the city clerk position as presented.
Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Supplemental letter agreement for 2026 street improvement projects.
Go ahead, Dave.
All right, really similar to what we did last year. It is a lump sum contract for the design and the things we know about, and then an hourly contract for the construction portion. So if we have a contractor that knocks it out in 2 weeks, it gets a lot cheaper for the city. It's the same way we run all of our contracts, so hopefully pretty much standard as far as the business.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the supplemental letter of agreement?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. New tobacco license, who would like to talk about?
I can talk about
Okay.
that. In addition to the renewals that were contained in your consent agenda, staff did receive an application for a new tobacco license at 315 East Main Street, the former Bruder's Butcher Building. They had to fill out, they had to provide us with a stack, an application that included, you know, their federal, their state, their work comp, background check. When you do new tobacco licenses, it does require a background check. They were also provided with all of the information related to what they are allowed to sell, and the cannabis rules. They're not applying for a cannabis license. I want to make that clear. Other than they're going to apply like everybody else for the very low dose that Spirit Liquor and the gas stations have right now. But this is strictly a tobacco license. So the council to give consideration to approval for a new tobacco license for Ziad Trading, doing business as City Smoke Tobacco for a new location at 315 East Main Street.
Yeah, so they wouldn't be able to get, you know, for a
Not the
higher,
flower.
yeah, for the flower or anything, because that's too close apart. So there's just, and they've been aware that they know that that
Yeah.
cannot happen there, right?
Correct. Yep, they've
So
been
they
given
know
all the
this, right?
documentation.
Okay.
That is correct.
So everything's documented. I just don't want to, you know, somebody say, well, I didn't know that. But as long as they're aware, you know.
Yep. The tough part, I'll tell you, with the cannabis registration, and it doesn't, they have not given any indication they're going through that, but the state makes them go through all their process, and we're on the back end. So they could spend all this money getting a cannabis license, and then they come to the city and we tell them no. So it's unfortunate. So Sheila's been really good about trying to get ahead of that when a new business potentially is coming in, so they're aware of it, so that, you know, they don't spend all this money and then at the end find out they can't, you know, have a cannabis shop. But again, this is tobacco.
Great.
Okay.
No, that's totally understandable as long as they know. Can I get a motion to approve, please?
So move.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. There is no old business, new business. There is a fire department officer's appointment. And, so they know, Tom Buddy is the chief yet. And his choices for, officers are Joe Weasty for first assistant, Corey Beckers for second assistant, Joe Matt for training officer. So he's made a good decision here, so, I trust.
You need an action item on that. Sorry, I don't know if that was on there. No, I guess that's
No,
just,
that's
just for them.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's just knowledge.
Okay.
So then we are on to Minnesota paid family leave.
Yes, so,
Nice.
here we go. So new Minnesota law will create a state-administered mandatory paid family and medical leave insurance program beginning January 1st, 2026. The program will provide job protections and partial wage replacement per benefit year up to a maximum of 20 weeks for family and medical leave, funded in large part by employer premiums and employee contributions. For each program leave type, broadly, they're kind of family, caregiving, and medical. An employee can take up to 12 weeks of leave, up to a combined total of 20 weeks under the program. This program will be administered by the Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development. We as a city have already notified all city employees of the law as required in state statute, and that was attached in your packet. The remaining questions, so it's a discussion by the council, I don't expect you to make a decision this evening, I just want direction, should be memorialized in an MOU, and consideration should be given to the following. Are employees able to supplement their leave with other paid benefits, sick leave, comp time, vacation, and personal day? Should the city require an order as to how the benefits can be used? So for example, right now, if somebody is out on a medical leave, what we tell them is you use up your sick leave first. That's what you do. The personal day, or the comp time, the personal day, and then the vacation is the last thing they use. So what folks can do is, let's say they get a certain percentage through the paid family leave, they can supplement that by using their sick or other type of leave that they have. And so that's just, I just need a little bit of direction because it's going to come back to you guys in January. I just wanted to know if you're, first of all, fine with the supplement. State statute does not require that you do that, but I will tell you that most communities and most folks are doing that because the idea is that if folks have leave, you know, they should be able to use it. And then the only other is if there's an order. And again, I think that falls back to sort of our ESST stuff. So it should be, you know, you use your sick first, then your vacation after, that type of thing. So that's just, I guess, kind of wanted to get a sense from the council if they have any objections to us proceeding forth with kind of putting together an MOU. If there was any questions you had or anything you needed to know. The employees are paying 0.44% as statutorily we can require. And then we as a city are paying a little bit more than that because we elected not to go under the state program. We elected to go with a third-party vendor that has a lot more experience with this type of thing. And that was a recommendation from Nesbitt Agency, who is our insurance provider. So,
Can you explain that again? You want to have them use their sick time before applying for the paid
no,
family?
you cannot do that.
Okay,
No,
I was going
no,
to say, I
no.
didn't think you could do that. I'm like,
No, if they go on Minnesota paid family leave, right? It might not be 100% of their salary, so then they can
Sure.
supplement it with, 8 hours of sick.
it's like 90% up to a certain threshold.
Well, it depends. It depends on what category you're in.
Yeah, because once you get higher in wages, then you. most
It's
likely-
less, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you're asking if they can take sick time on top of the family paid leave?
Yep, that's kind of, I want a little bit of direction of how we want to sort of put together that MOU.
I think that should be their decision, shouldn't it?
What?
Shouldn't that be their decision?
Well, we got to be a little bit careful because of the earn sick and safe time too, because they're allowed to have that as well.
So when they're gone, are they still earning it?
I think they are.
I mean, if
can't
they're not here
remember.
for that, the 20 weeks, are they still,
I don't,
are they earning vacation? I mean, if they start using their vacation, does that mean that they can earn it?
that's a really good question.
I wouldn't think so either. But the one thing I don't understand is like, being a firefighter, I have to pay into this, but there's no way I can use it.
Right.
So why should I have to pay as a firefighter for something that
I know.
I cannot even use? I would love to have that question answered. So. And I guess that's not a question, I guess I would just ask if you can check on, not that, how do you say, not double dipping, but if you're taking it, I don't want everything to be so sunny that people are finding ways to use it all the time and they're building more vacation and all of a sudden people have a whole year off.
Well, it's 20 weeks max. but
20 weeks max, but
For the
if,
paid family leave, but if they have.
correct.
So if someone was seriously ill and they were out on paid family leave, would their health insurance still be paid if they're not using sick time or something else in between there?
Yeah. How is that getting paid?
Because
I think
They're
on
just
the
not-
insurance side, we are required to pay as an employer. I think that's part of what's written in here.
I thought like on long-term disability,
Oh.
the employer wouldn't have to pay for the insurance, and then it could be up to the employee, I guess. And I know some employees, just where I work, that supplement that by taking vacation time in there, so they're not totally using
Yeah.
the disability.
So it sounds like you guys have some questions and we probably need to come back with answers for those questions. So,
But I understand.
See what some of the other cities are doing with them.
well, and this is all new for everybody, so we're kind of all trying to navigate it and we're trying to understand it to the best of our ability. But I could, what I'll do is Flattery and Hood can put together a really nice summation for us and I think I'll provide that to you at the next meeting and then you can decide from there.
So, yeah, so I guess the question was, is, you know, if they're gone for
Supplementation.
20 weeks, how is their insurance being paid? Because if they're not working and they're not using their vacation from us, how is it, anybody else? And can they use it on top if they're only getting 80% or 90%? So they're using their vacation, and so in a sense, they're getting like time and 3/4, aren't they? No, okay.
It can't be more than 100% of their wages.
Right, it has to just match up to their
Okay.
wages. It can't go beyond that.
Okay.
But you burn PTO by hour, right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Accruing.
Yeah.
So they don't get paid a fraction of their wage?
Yes.
And I don't think St. Paul really knows how this is going 100% yet, so I guess,
But, you know, good questions. I think we certainly can get some answers for you guys for sure.
and does the league have those answers? I mean,
Oh, I'm sitting here going,
Yeah.
this is the league stuff now. Some of it, they definitely do. But they're like us, you know, everyone's kind of going through this together. We're navigating it
Yeah.
as a group. And so,
well, you see this with cannabis. I mean, what are we, year number 3, and they still don't know what the heck they're doing, so.
yeah, the paid leave program is really designed for longer term or extended absences. And it's based on eligibility and necessity. So that's where it's a little bit different. Like if you have a sick kid at home for a day, you're not going to use your paid family leave for it. You're just going to take your sick day, right? Because there's a process to follow, and you have to go through an application process to make sure you're eligible under the paid leave.
If they applied for the paid leave and got rejected for the paid leave, could they retroactively use vacation or sick time then? Would that be permitted?
That's a good question.
Or
Well, if they've been denied,
Because it didn't meet whatever state, but it's still, they took the time off already, they're out of the office.
yeah, then I wonder if the E ESST would, depending on what it is, yeah, they can use their vacation.
But the payroll's already completed, right? You've already kind of create some,
Or regular family medical leave where they don't get paid, but they
Yeah.
have a safe
Sure.
job.
Those are really good questions, obviously. We can definitely get some answers for you guys, and
Okay.
I might even be able to have somebody come in and do a presentation if you want,
Is there any other questions?
I don't think so. I think that's pretty much.
And I think if you do think of something, please email Colleen anyway on that. So, unless that's it, informational items, school trainings, review of the 2026 meetings for the fire department. Unless there's anything else, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So move.
second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried, meeting adjourned.